Hi, this is Mrs. M, the woman that makes the Good Morning Portugal show possible every morning. Don't forget you can send Carl a voice message on WhatsApp just like I'm doing now, which he'll probably play on the show. Send your comment, question or suggestion to Portugal code 351 913 590 303. By the way, Carl, can you pop out after the show and get us another bottle of Portuguese Red, some chocolate? And don't forget to take your tablets. Ciao, ciao. Muito obrigado. Pau, pau, queijo, queijo. That's the Portugal code 351 913 590 303. Bye for now.
Hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. And I must load up that WhatsApp software so we can indeed hear the rather marvellous jingle made for us by our pal Owen. Because, of course, folks, he sent me quite a few. I've got to make sure I've got the right one here. Oh, dear. This maybe it's this button.
Good morning. This is Prince Charles here.
No, not you, Prince Charles. What about this one?
Sexta-feira.
No, not that one either. What about this one?
Old Butlins.
No, where is it? Here it is.
Filomena Friday.
Filomena Friday. So let's bring her onto the screen now. Our friend in Miranda de Corvo, Filomena Pascoal. Tudo bem, Filomena?
Hiya, Bonnie lad. How you doing?
What a fabulous Newcastle Geordie greeting. Yeah, buddy, how you doing? Amazing. Oh, that really threw me, Filomena. But you've obviously been practicing your regional English.
Because of you. It didn't go very well, but okay. I tried my best.
It went extremely well, and we're all in the same boat here. As you can see there, Filomena giving it a go with some of the regional English there. It's such fun when Filomena joins us. I'm sure it will be on this particular Filomena Friday as well. You've even got your own jingle. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Sung to you by Owen. Which is so the thing about Filomena Fridays, I think we haven't spoken to each other since before Christmas, and lockdown has continued. We'll be talking a bit about that, of course. I think it will be wrong not to in many ways, because you can help us decode that, perhaps a little bit about the president's speech last night. But beyond that, Filomena's here to help us with those sort of cultural things. I mean, certainly the language, Portuguese language, because she teaches Portuguese and teaches English, but the cultural linguistic stuff that you might be afraid to ask in other context, it's safe to ask here, because Filomena will tell us off if necessary, but she's also very supportive, understanding and compassionate. We have a few coming in already, Filomena. Bon dia from Moscow, would you believe, from Carolyn. Pam E, rainy Oregon. Wow, over there in the United States. Joel's here from Porto. Says there can be a little bit of a Portuguese ganging up on some of my pronunciations. I think that might happen today. Guten Morgen, Carl and Filomena aus Wiesbaden.
Guten Morgen.
She speaks German as well. And well done.
Ich spreche Deutsch, ja. Hi, Deborah. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie Lass.
Bon dia from Natalie. Sorry, I think that's probably dry again here in Vila Praia da Ancora.
That is something that we have to speak about, that pronunciation.
Bon dia. Bon fin de semana to all, and keep safe. Thank you very much, Natalie. Oh, here's some English. Oh, Irish, actually. Sorry, Eugene. Yeah. The English language, as done by the Irish, I should say. I'm going to translate that as very freezing here in Ireland this morning. He's quite liberal with that sort of language, you know. Bon dia. Muito obrigado. Always enjoy holding our noses on a Friday. What does Pete mean? Oh, I see. For the Portuguese pronunciation. I thought for a moment there, oh dear, what's happening to my, there's the green screen's back now. I thought Pete realized that I hadn't been able to have a shower this morning. The hot water's broken down in the house here. I think he's okay. How can he tell? Good morning to you, Pete. So get those questions in for Filomena to do with Portuguese language, to do with Portuguese culture, and the some of the trouble you can run into. I've got a few other topics for discussion as well. Fiona Worrell's here as well. Bon dia, Filomena, Carl.
Hola, Fiona.
Hola, Fiona. Morning, lovely Carl, and everyone else. Oh, thank you, lovely Deborah. I tell you what the weather is like in Colares, but I'm still in bed. I therefore don't know, don't care. What sort of attitude is that? A good one, I would say. Getting ready for the weekend. Morning from a grey but warm Cabanas de Tavira. Bon dia to Filomena from Paul.
Bon dia, Paul.
The man of the jingle.
Hola, Owen.
I had to go through quite a few to find it.
Filomena Friday.
Yeah, what a lovely voice he's got. Penny Alberta, feeling fed up. I've got a no alcohol hangover. That is a cruel twist of human life, isn't it? Drinking no alcohol beverages and then having a hangover anyway. That's not right. Just a late night is enough nowadays. Old Penny, me too. I'm not firing on all cylinders this morning, but with the energy of a Filomena Friday, that's seeing me through. Bon dia from Pavot de Vagim. From Mark Rigby. Good morning to you, Mark. From Belgium, bon dia, Donna Filomena. When are you happy with that?
Bon dia, Donna Jenny.
Here we go. First question coming in there. We can probably deal with this quite quickly. When do you use por favor or se faz favor?
Indifferent. It's the same. It's the same.
Okay.
You can say por favor or se faz favor. It's
All right.
the same.
Okay. My other question this morning is, how do you deal with a fruit fly plague? People are. I think this morning there are so many in the air that I'm going to be eating one this morning. So those of you watching in high definition might see that in all its glory. Oh dear. Fiona Worrell. If it's anything like here, stay in bed. Lol. Great. It's looking a bit better over the Coimbra way, I have to say. Bon dia, lovely Filomena there from
Oh,
Gary.
thank you, Gary. Obrigada.
I'll pronounce his town correctly. Alvaiazara.
Okay.
Okay. Quick look at the weather. And I think because it's the weekend, obviously we want to know if we're going to be home by 1 o'clock, which we have to be at the moment. We need to know what the weather's going to be like up until 1 o'clock. And yeah, no inter-municipality travel, of course, with the weekend coming up. But still nice to know what the weather's going to be like. The president addressed the nation last night. Filomena may, of course, wish to congratulate him on his re-election and decode for us what he was saying last. She might not, but she might.
He was of course advising people to stay at home, basically, right? And to see that we have a very serious situation at the moment.
Okay, so simple as that. Maybe we don't even need to go there then.
No,
All right,
no, you can.
Didn't you read the article on fruit flies that I sent you a few days ago, young man? I didn't, Karen. I didn't see that. I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed now. I'm embarrassed because obviously that problem would be over by now if I'd taken your prescription there, Caroline. So forgive me. It is not rudeness. It's just something that got overlooked for some reason or some technological problem there. Owen Lloyd, would you mind sending it again? Discovered the most beautiful word in the Portuguese language. I wonder if you'd agree with this, Filomena. Saudade. I love everything it stands for because he is quite a romantic, is Owen. Might be a Cancerian. It might suit his sort of sensibilities and his very sensitive soul. Saudade. The most beautiful word in the Portuguese language, do you think?
Well, it's one of the most difficult to translate because as you know, I also do translations, right?
Yeah.
And I usually translate from English into Portuguese or Portuguese into English. But so that is quite difficult, right? It's as Owen says, everything that it stands for. It's so difficult to say that. Well, in German there is also the word Sehnsucht, and so it's similar to this Saudade, but in English it's a bit hard to translate the word.
Okay, and if we try to do that for those people who are, I mean,
I have no idea what Saudade is when you miss something terribly. You know, you long for something that you had already, and well, now we can say that we have saudade of meeting our friends and being with our friends. It's to long for something, to miss something.
Oh, we've got that. We've got Marmite, which is our way of saying that. Easy.
Okay, if you say so.
All right. Bob Spondon. Bondi, I'm moving to Portugal in the next couple of years and want to keep chickens, ducks, goats, and maybe donkeys. Will I need a license for any of these?
Well, what can I say? I have chickens and ducks, not goats, but no, I mean, for chickens and ducks, you don't need a license. For donkeys, I'm not sure. I've never had a donkey.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I don't know.
It was lovely to see your pictures of your poultry recently. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I've got chickens, and it's never occurred to me to have them licensed.
No, chickens. I don't think that you need a license, but donkeys, I don't know. I mean, for the dog, we pay an annual fee, right? The dog.
Oh, go on. Tell us more. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, you should. If you don't, you should.
Of course I do. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, when you have a pet, usually you put the ship. It's according to the law. You have to put the ship on the pet, right?
Yeah. Okay.
The vet puts the small ship, and then after that, you go to your local junta de freguesia, the local government, let's say, and you have to pay a fee once a year. You have to register the animal with the animal's name and blah, 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 all those details. And then you pay a fee once a year. You didn't know that, Carl?
Of course I knew that, Philomena. I was just pretending not to know that for the sake of being able to ask.
Okay.
How much is it? How much is it?
Oh, it's very cheap. It's very cheap. I can't remember, but it's a couple of euros, €5, €6, I don't know. It's cheap.
So there's a bureaucratic cost of about €100 with all the labour and time of people for a €5 license. But that's another matter. That's another matter. The other question, the big question, of course, is: do dogs have to have their own NIF number?
What?
They have to have. Does a dog have to have its own NIF number?
To what? To pay?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, come on, you're puzzling me now.
I'm joking. I just thought, while you're at Finanzas, as well as getting your dog chipped and paying the license, you also have to use NIF number in case you take it to Lidl.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing not. In that, so there you go. A great answer to you, Bob. We don't think you do need to license poultry or goat for that matter. But when you get into the realm of sort of cattle, I guess that might be an EU thing, whereby if you're moving, the licensing tends to come in when you're moving livestock, doesn't it? So I think that it might be worth asking that on our forum. If anybody, the bigger the beast, the more likely that is. And let's keep that quiet because the EU will probably want us licensing our chickens and ducks. So we'll just keep that quiet for the time being. Bon dia from Doreen Razor. Oh, look at this. Good morning. I think that's Dutch, isn't it? Buongiorno, Italiano, bonjour, of course, en français, and a good morning as well. Very good, Doreen.
Buenos dias. Buenos dias in Spanish.
We're not afraid to say that. We're not afraid. It's better you do that than us, of course, Filomena. Deborah Simpson, I'm still in bed and was instructed to put my alarm on to watch Filomena. Of course. Was that by the government? I think that it is now.
Because Deborah, she was the one who has been teaching me, hiya, Bonnie lad.
She taught you the any Geordie poems or songs like "Who shall have a blood when the boat comes in"?
No, poor Deborah. She tried to teach me lots of other expressions, but they are quite hard.
Well, it's quite simple. And that actually is another question today. We were thinking we might ask you to teach us how to sing Happy Birthday in Portuguese. Because how it's gone so far, when we've done it recently, we've just gone, Parabéns a você, parabéns a você. And we can all do the woo at the end. The bit in the middle we're struggling with. I don't know, maybe that's something we could look at. Culturally, folks, what have you discovered in Portugal recently? I have discovered doce de pera e vinho do Porto. Look at this, pear and port jam. Is that actually traditionally Portuguese, or is that something Lidl are just trying to convince us is Portuguese?
No, we have some jams. We have some, for example, here near the town of Miranda do Corvo, I know a lady, for example, who does excellent jams, and she also does lots of, apart from different fruit, also with vinho do Porto and joins different things. And I mean, you can find that somewhere. For example, in Serra da Estrela, whenever I go to Serra da Estrela, I always buy some cheese, of course, and then some jam with different things. Yeah.
Nice combination. So that like a pear and port jam would be quite a Portuguese thing then.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm loving it. I'm glad to have discovered it. Actually, very very sweet as a jam tends to be, and certainly in Portugal that's the case as well. FFF. It's a fruit fly free ferragudo. Another Algarve selling point. Yeah, I don't think it's a Portuguese thing. This fruit fly thing. Mrs. Emma's got a kind of hydroponic growing thing that she's innovated, and they seem to have colonized on that. So I can't blame the Portuguese climate or anything like that. It's not a Portugal related thing. I don't want to spark a diplomatic incident about that. It's unique to Casamunsten, that problem. Peter Bleach. Oh, here's a good one. When we are stopped by the police on entry or immigration, how do we say, please let us in, we are residents? I suggest you write it down, Pete.
How do we say, please let us in?
Yeah. More importantly, we are residents, because if folks
we are residents, of course, it's just somos. You have, somos. You don't have to say nós somos, because the verbs in Portuguese you don't need to start with we, but we can say nós somos, or just somos residentes. It's very simple. Residentes. Somos residentes.
Great value for you this morning on Filomena Friday. Somos residentes. Very good.
Somos residentes, yeah.
Okay. And whilst we're on,
don't forget that I would like to speak to you about the pronunciation of some words, right?
I know, that's what I was just about to say. I was reluctant to mention it, but I guess it's going to happen sooner or later, isn't it? So let's do that now then. Is it my C sounds?
No, I mean also the same, but because of the word âncora, because you were reading Vila Praia de, and then you are not giving an emphasis to the A at the beginning, because the A has an accent. Okay, you didn't see any accent now, but it has a acento circunflexo, a hat on the A. Yeah. And whenever an accent, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of accent, but when an accent is on a letter, it means that you have to stress the word there, right? Okay. So it's not the ancora, for example, but it's âncora. Vila Praia, yeah, the âncora, and we usually say Vila Praia d'Âncora. We okay. Kind of eliminate the E on the D, and we say Vila Praia d'Âncora. But you have to say âncora, not âncora. And something else about the pronunciation, and actually with the word âncora, one of these days you were not sure if it was âncora or ânsora, wasn't it? I mean, you were a bit unsure.
It's true.
Well, the sound of the C, it's basically like in English, when it comes next to an E or an I, like you have the word cellar or, cement, the sound is S, right? It becomes S.
Yeah.
And when it's with an A or an O or a U, then the sound is K. And the same happens in English, car, for example, right?
Oh, excellent.
So it should be âncora with the sound K because it's a CO, âncora. So it's just that. You can have, for example, cera, for example, because it's a CE, wax, cera, or you can have carro, like in English car, carro, with a CA. So it depends on the CE or CI with the sound S, or a CA, O, or U with the sound K. Okay? That's about the...
That's really helpful. And the emphasis, I should have known. And I think I couldn't, I mean, in my defense, I couldn't see any circumflex.
No.
So, but yeah, I take it on the chin. It's a bit like the capital of Turkey, isn't it? Ankara. That it will be similar to that emphasis on the beginning A there.
Yeah. And one Alcácer do Sal. The other day you were reading Alcácer do Sal, and Rita has typed you also in capital letters, but with an accent on Alcácer, right? So in the middle of the word, Alcácer, because there is an accent on the A. So and you were not pronouncing, you were stressing a bit later, but it should be Alcácer do Sal.
Alcácer.
And speaking about pronunciations, because when you I could go on and on. So no. I mean, it's for you to pronounce better next time, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
So, for example, when you speak about the weather, usually you go through all the cities, Coimbra, and then you come to Leiria. Sorry, Leiria, right?
Yeah.
And in the word Leiria, it finishes with an IA, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the words that finish with an IA, they should be stressed at the end of the word. So you say Leiria.
Yes.
And that's why you didn't understand the... I'm sorry. Today. I'm really angry with you with your.
And also, I think I'm taking it for the team here because they're all thinking, "Ha, Munson's getting it in the neck about this." They're all doing it as well, and I'm just the guy at the front here taking a heat for it. But you're all the same, so just listen up, you guys, and listen to what Philomena's saying to me.
Yeah. So about Lydia, you stress at the end, right? And one of the, I can't remember who, wrote Bom dia alegria.
Yes.
Remember the word alegria.
Yes.
And you are not reading alegria. The thing is that the word alegria rhymes with dia. That's why we say Bom dia alegria, because alegria rhymes with dia. Okay? And alegria means joy. Alegria is joy. So this is a way, just a happy greeting, and it's rhyming. Bom dia, alegria, right? So that's why. And you didn't get the rhyme because you were not reading alegria. You said alegria or something like that. Basically, the words ending in IA. For example, you have pastry shop. How do you say a pastry shop?
Pasteleria.
Pasteleria, so you stress at the end, right? And then a bakery.
Padaria.
Padaria, you stress at the end. So all these words, padaria, pasteleria, cafeteria, merceria, livraria, and I could go on and on. So all these words are stressed at the final I-A, ear, right?
Well, that could be a summation of learning Portuguese is being stressed at the end, but I'll not be bitter about it. I will keep going. And I thank you for your coaching. I thank you for your coaching, Filomena, here on Filomena Friday on the Good Morning Portugal show. Yeah, I do make a mess of Leria, don't I? I go Laeria. So
Yes,
yes,
you stress the beginning, yeah.
and then you get into a habit of doing it. And there's this terrible sort of curve, I think, with Portuguese. It's like, well, I'll have a go at it anyway. And then you do it wrong, or I do it wrong. And then I get stuck on doing it wrong. And I think that might be wrong. So I'll try it the other way. And then you're just trying it all different ways. So that's why you're here, Philomena. It's great. So I could say, Bon dia, alegria, in Leria.
Yes, that's a good practice. Bon dia, alegria.
It's the same as Pygmalion, isn't it? Or My Fair Lady. It's the equivalent. It's like if we remake that film of me becoming a cultured Portuguese young gentleman with you as my mentor, that would be a scene in the film, wouldn't it? So instead of saying the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain, it would be eventually I would be coming, I'd be in my Portuguese fado outfit and I would say, Bon dia, alegria, em Leiria.
Yeah.
Everyone would know that I'd arrived and finally got it right. Perfect. Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. Thank you very much indeed. So my fruit fly article is on its way. Young man, it's been a while since you heard that one. Yeah, all right, Gary. But that reminds me, rapaz. If you say young man in Portuguese, would you say rapaz? Or is
rapaz, a boy. Rapaz is a boy, yeah.
And so is it a little bit
young
like
man, jovem. Young man,
okay.
jovem.
Jove. Okay, excellent. So we're translating everything we possibly can. What on earth is Jerry saying here? This is a bit new, and I need to run it past you before I read it out and possibly cause offence. What does this mean, though? Do it, Filomena? Conas tatu. What does that mean, conas tatu? Is that Irish? I think it might.
I don't know, but I better not translate that from Portuguese, okay?
Jerry. What is he like, honestly? Bon dia, nice morning. Oh, here we go. I think that's going to be a Selanova, right?
That's right.
With plenty of lovely soft sun filtering through the clouds. We are feeling the Portuguese spring coming. Is it true, Filomena, that winter we just had was one of the coldest for a really long time, and it just shouldn't have been like that?
Well, I can't say it shouldn't be. It shouldn't have been like that. But yes, it was a bit colder than the previous ones that we had recently. But it's nothing that it was not completely new in Portugal. I mean, we have had other winters like that, but people tend to forget because the sun comes again in summer, and then people, they forget. Oh, yeah, they say, oh, this winter is so cold. Yeah, but of course it was colder than a few others, but we had this kind of cold years before.
So basically, you're saying man up and shut up, Carl. Spring is on its way. Okay, fair enough. But that sounds lovely over there, Kate. Gianni coming back at you with this Donna thing. We have to say Donna from our Portuguese teacher to a lady that you don't know well. So should she have said Donna to you?
Well, we usually say, yes, we usually say Donna and then the first name. We use the first name. Like Donna Filomena, like she said, to a lady that you don't know. Yes, we usually say that.
Okay, and I'm realizing I'm even pronouncing your name wrong. You just said Filomena, didn't you?
Filomena, yeah.
I mean, English people, American people are likely to say Filomena, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, I'm used to it. Oh,
I can't get anything right. This is a good question. This is for me, though. What do I have to do to be interviewed on your show? I'm an artist from the UK. Sure, okay. I can entertain for a morning. I bet you can, Deborah, and you'd be more than welcome. You just have to pay the standard fee that Filomena has done, which is a jar of jam. To appear on the show. My current favourite and no, you don't really. Just your line and we'll get you on the show. Absolutely. Oh, nostalgia would be quite.
Again, have another go, please.
No, this is. I'm saying it in
No,
English.
have another go, but because I know, but in Portuguese we have the same word.
Nostalgia.
That's right.
Woo! Okay. I need my own jingle for when I get a word right here, like on a quiz show. But yeah, nostalgia. Then nostalgia. Kind of close, but no cigar, as one might say. I think there, but we're on the right kind of level. Yeah, Paul Knox.
Right.
He agrees with me about that. I don't know. V. Brumby, a new name, I think, on the screen. Good morning to you. I feel that with Andy the Doc right away. Is that the maybe the saudade that we're talking about there? Oh, come on, everyone. Don't feel sad. The times are tough enough already with that added saudade. Bon dia, Carl and Filomena from Frank. Question coming incoming from Frank. A great wine they came up with last night, Filomena, from Alentejo, the AR wine from a cooperative.
I like all the Alentejo ones.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it looks like we do as well, actually. Você or tu. Você sounds very formal. Happy to use it, but I've heard tu from time to time as well. So what's the right place and time for você and the right place and time for tu?
Well, você, it says that it sounds very formal. I wouldn't say that. Você is more formal than tu, of course. Yeah. We usually use tu or the verb. Again, we don't tend to use the word você or the word tu, but the verb in that form. With the tu form, it's with friends that you know already. For example, I've already told you, Carl, that when you speak to me, you can use the tu form. I consider you a friend by now. But if you don't know the person at all, it would be a bit awkward for us, for Portuguese. Unless you are a young person, because now young people, they address to everybody as tu. It's it's a more informal way. But for example, at the cafe, not now because they are closed. But at the cafe, for example, if you address the waiter that you don't know, right? You go to a cafe, any cafe, and you don't know the waiter or the waitress, and if you address them as tu, it could be considered a bit impolite because you don't know them, right? So, I mean, in my opinion, of course, but on the other hand, we don't usually use the word você, because some people also find it a bit offensive, not formal enough. So it all depends on the person. So the best, to be formal, the best would be to use o senhor or a senhora. That is the best way to use the formal way. For example, o senhor podia dizer-me as horas. Could you, sir, tell me the time, please? So in that sense, I would say that the formal, it's better to use o senhor or a senhora. For example, we have seen before, como está o senhor, or just como está. Because if you say como está, you are already using the formal form of the verb instead of como estás. If you say como estás, you are using the informal form with the S, with the sound sh at the end, right? Como estás? If I say como estás, I'm using the tu, although I'm not saying tu, but I'm using this tu form. But if I say como está, I'm not saying você, but I'm using the você form of the verb. Okay. I don't know if I made it clear. I tried to summarize as much as I could.
No, I think that's going to be helpful for Frank because he likes to get it right. He's a charming fellow. And I sort of take a similar approach. You want to get it right when talking to people, but what I've recognized in Portugal is that being correct is as important, if not more important, than being polite. because I know that people want, as a British person, you're always like saying sorry and like, com licença, muito obrigado. And you're saying muito obrigado instead of obrigado when an obrigado would do. You don't have to be overemphasizing and being sort of fawning and polite, because I don't think Portuguese people really appreciate that. So would you agree that it's actually as important to be correct as it is to be polite?
Well, I would say it's more important to be correct rather than polite.
That's what I mean, and I think that will be news to people.
Because even if in the situation that I was referring to in the cafe,
yeah,
I have been to British people at a cafe or a restaurant, and they address the waiter in an informal "tu" form.
Yes.
Of course, I mean, I laughed a bit, the waiter laughed a bit, because it was strange for us, right? I mean, it was a bit strange. But because you are foreigners, you are excused, let's say. I mean, they know that you don't know the language very well, so it's natural for you to make a mistake, let's say, like that. Because you are not sure if you should use tu or você, so you just use one, and it's better to use tu rather than nothing, isn't it? So I would say that it's more important to, for example, to pronounce the words better rather than for Carl, rather than worrying too much about being polite with você, or if you are being impolite with tu. Of course, it's okay. It's nice if you use the correct word, but more important, I think, is the pronunciation. Because if you don't pronounce, you can know the word. Sometimes people know the word and they know how the word is written and everything, but the way they pronounce the word, people don't recognize it,
Yes.
And so that can be a problem. That can be a problem if you don't recognize the word.
Okay, so we've got a hierarchy developing here, and this is news to me, that that correctness is more important than politeness, which is a real that's a real news flash, I think, to the Brits. But the first most important thing is to have a go. The second thing is to be correct, and then the third thing is to be polite. So
yes, I would say so.
Yeah, you Brits have just got to stop it standing there saying "scooper, scooper, scooper" about everything, and just give it a go, get the words right, and then think about the politeness after that. That's fantastic. Thank you for that question, Frank. V Bramble is Leona, and she's missing the doc. Oh, bless you too. You'll be able to get a room, as it were, soon, I hope. Not long now. And here he is, the doc himself. Hola, bon dia to Aston Birmingham. Reading histories of smuggling between Spain and Portugal. Hi, Leona, my love. What a delight to be able to convey that message. Because when you were here last time, Filomena, you had a go at Brummie, didn't you? And we were getting you to say, would you like a cup of tea? And I think it went quite well. But have you met any Birmingham people since then? Wasted then?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. A question coming in, or an answer coming in, actually. Fiona says, yes, for donkeys, goats, and horses and other livestock. You are supposed to have them registered, and I believe there is a license. Know plenty of people who have such animals, and no one who informed anyone or paid anything. I guess that's a little bit central Portugal, you might say. It would be a sniff number for a dog. Very good, Paul. Very good. I like that. Very good indeed. What sort of country rent does a dog have? Why? A sniff number, of course. Sneef. You would say sneef, wouldn't you? A pet's zoo, says Eric. And then Mark's in with this as well. Yeah, for a dog, wouldn't it be a sneef number? Very good. Licensing is not mandatory. Besides the fact it's a tax, that doesn't do any other thing than put money into politicians. Oh my goodness, that don't care. I'll decode that about its citizens. Sorry for the rant. No, go on, Joel. We're quite used to it. Not just livestock, pets too. If you travel with pets, they need an EU passport. Oh, life is so complicated. These Paul Knox, sneef. He's enjoying that as well. Jacqueline Branco, bon dia from Jacqueline Branco. Como estás? I'm going to say to you on a familiar level there. Here we go. Gary's loving the jam. Fig and walnut jam. Beautiful. with the morning croissant. Of course, croissant imported into Alfazar there via Lidl, I suspect. Johnny, Filomena, do you have to put accents on capital letters in the Portuguese language? Good question. Accents on capitals?
Well, yes. For example, Âncora, Vila Praia de Âncora. You have to put the accent, yes, even if it's a capital letter. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you for that. Philomena, I do love Filomena Fridays, and if you've just joined us, Filomena is here helping us with language, culture, and of course, she has her own jingle now.
Filomena Friday.
That's what it is today. And Eugene says the Irish government want people to register hens and ducks. Oh, what are politicians like around at the moment? It's what a time to be a politician. What a time to be a subject of any nation state, of course, as well. They are so useless, says Eugene. I wouldn't send them to the chip shop. And I'm not sure if he's talking about the politicians or the hens or the ducks, but probably the hens and the ducks might make a better job of bringing him some fish and chips. Okay, Frank, I have finished 2 bottles of that jam already cold. So this is a favourite. This is proving itself to be an expat favourite. The pear and port stood in front of it in the grocery aisle yesterday. Rachel told me to keep walking. So I think it sounds like Frank was having a Homer Simpson moment, staring at jam in the supermarket before lovely Rachel took him by the arm and pulled him away from the confections. Deborah, things I find in Portugal, I found a crown daisy plant. You rarely get it in the UK. It's an edible plant and tastes of celery. Wow, okay. A crown daisy. There you go. Kate Kimblett saying, hey, Carl, are you implying you didn't... Oh, stop it. You didn't have a dog license for your pet Fido when you lived in the UK. Naughty then, naughty now when it comes to the rules, methinks. Oh, stop it, Kate. By the way, Donna Filomena, what is the penalty for... Oh, look at... What is the penalty a license canine pet in Carl's municipality? Is there a reward for turning him in? Don't answer that, Philomena. Don't answer that. Rachel is mean for taking Frank away from the jam, says Deborah. Hank, where have you been, Hank? He's late this morning. Bon dia from California, friends. Hi to everyone. Hola, Gary, Jerry, Comrade Andy, Safiro, and of course, I'm going to extend that to you, Philomena. He's thanking us for our help with our partners over at EI there. More questions, please, for Philomena. Let me just prop this rather...
Language, please.
Language and culture. Never mind about all these greetings and bonhomie and camaraderie. We're here to learn this morning, and you can see how cross Philomena can get. So don't stir her wrath. Good day, readers. I am writing this comment. Cynthia. This is Cynthia the lady who's about to send that message to everybody in there. Don't do that, Cynthia, or I will have to block you. I think that's what's going on there. Deborah Simpson, Divin Dunch is a majority. Couldn't persuade Philomena to try this day. I like abobora. That is a beautiful abobora.
Okay.
Abobora. But if you want to say it like abobora, sounds. But then again, if you say that down the market, people are going to look at you and think, "What is this bloke on? What is wrong?"
What is that, right? I mean, if you say, eu quero abobora or something that you were saying,
it sounds like
people don't have a clue what you want. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So abobora. That's, as you can see, I am embedding my learning this morning. I've got that right now.
Very good, very good.
Nick says over in London there, thank you. This is like listening to my wife correct my Portuguese, but in a much more polite way. My God, what did she savage you, Nick, each time you get a borbora wrong? Going back to young man, menino, I think is the reference there. Young boy, also cachopo.
Yeah.
The same. And the CH
in a more slang way, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's slangy, but it does bring us on to the CH sound, because when there's a vegetable that I encountered in Portugal for the first time.
Chuchu.
Exactly. It's a kind of hairy thing that hangs down at eye level when you're walking down the street. Quite off-putting, some might say. And I'm saying it's called a choo-choo, and it's a shushu.
Shushu. It's shushu.
All right, not like a choo-choo train, but a shoo-shoo, which is a lovely word as well. Let's clear up.
You have to be careful if you want to peel it, for example.
Yeah.
And if you peel it, and then if you peel lots of them, and you don't wash your hands meanwhile, then you get your skin all like a burning sensation.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't mess with my shoo-shoo with the wash your hands. I mean, everyone's washing their hands all the time anyway at the moment. So I think we're going to.
You peel one shoo and wash your hand, and then you peel another shoo. Yeah,
it's that astringent. Okay, good advice. We're getting vegetable advice, cookery advice here as well. This is fantastic this morning. And clearing this business up with Jerry, we hastily moved on, didn't we? It's Irish for hello, but it looks like you don't want to be trying that in Portugal. I'd love to know what Filomena thinks it means.
Maybe in man cave, maybe.
It's a man cave thing, Jerry.
It's a man cave thing. Yeah.
That's an excellent way of dealing with that. Tell you later, Jerry. And he's been here for a while, and he's probably been saying it all over the place, and that's why nobody talks to him in his village anymore with his Irish greetings. Any ideas how Portugal is toward digital currency such as Bitcoin and the like? I went to a big conference in Porto a year or two ago. It was a kind of libertarian conference, but Bitcoin was being talked about there, and cryptocurrency. It was a great event. But cryptocurrency, is that going into the sort of Portuguese consciousness? Are people talking about that, Filomena?
Yeah, well, I would say maybe younger people than me. Maybe, yes. But for people my age, I don't think probably it's. I mean, I don't know. I can't comment on that. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think it's a very sort of borderline thing at the moment. It's been out in the fringes for quite a while. Some people have heard of it, some haven't, and it has been coming into the news, obviously, because people are talking more about money at the moment. My invitation to you, Crypto Coin Ventures, is to come on the show and give us a beginner's guide to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I'd love to talk to you about that. Gary Austin, need some tips on how to identify male, female words and how they affect the singular, plural, like we talked about. Yeah, and this is connected to a lovely post from Gary about how beautiful and delicious Portuguese orange juice is, and he was saying, "Why isn't Portuguese?"
No, that's another one. That's another one, right? He was speaking about pastel de nata because of your post. Post.
Complicated. All right, so that that was the one with the great big pastel.
The huge pastel de nata, right? Okay. And the who made that, whoever made that, wrote one pastéis de nata. So, and then I have clarified that if it's just one, it's not pastéis, because pastéis is the plural. So if it's one, it's pastel de nata, right? One pastel de nata. So one, or just one cake. But so that's why probably Gary is asking some tips to identify. Well, for example, like this pastel ends with an L, right? So if it ends with an L, we don't have that easy way to identify if it's a female word with an A or a male word with an O, which is the general rule, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, the general rule. Although we have exceptions, like dear. Of course, dear ends with an A, and it's a masculine word. Right?
Yeah. You could be forgiven for going for boa dia, couldn't you?
Yeah. So bon dia, because it's a masculine word, and we have other words ending in A that are exceptions, are not female. But this here, pastel, yes, it's an L. So you have to know, we have, I would say, plenty of words ending in L, which are masculine. But it can happen, I can't remember now, of a word ending in L with being feminine. Yes, you have to know. I mean, there are these words like pastel that you have to know that it's masculine or feminine, because you don't have a rule for that. Sometimes, even for example, the word capital
Yeah.
finishes with an L. And we have the masculine and the feminine. We have both words meaning different things. We can say a capital, feminine, a capital, which is the capital city. A capital de Portugal é Lisboa, right? But we can say o capital in terms of money, the capital in terms of money, right?
Yeah.
So we distinguish being feminine, the capital city, a capital, and o capital being about money. So that's why you really need to know if it's masculine or feminine according to the word. But sorry.
No, but basically for Gary there's no simple rule about it. He's got to learn it.
Yes, basically there are words that you have to learn if it's masculine or feminine. But at least you are not in Germany. In German you have masculine, feminine, and neutrum, so you have just 50% chance of making a mistake here, right?
There's
Either
always
male or female.
At least you're not in Germany, Gary. And also, he's obviously cracked it with ordering the pastel donato. We tend to learn.
But the question what effect they have, how they affect. Oh yeah, how they affect the singular or plural. Yes, I mean, being a female or a male word, it doesn't affect the plural. I mean, just this ending in L. Pastel. You change the L into an I, and you put an S, and you put an accent on the E. Pastéis.
Okay.
So that is the rule for the words ending in L that are stressed at the end, because
it's not
have other
male or female. Okay.
There are other words that are stressed at the beginning, and then the rule is another one.
and then there are students of Portuguese that are stressed at the beginning and at the end, and sometimes in the middle as well. A bit like okay. So we could illustrate that here, can we? So if there were two donas, it would be duas donas or duas meninas. Is that
Donna,
right?
depends on the way people are raised and educated. I learned to treat women. Okay. Yes, menina, as he says, yes, menina can be let's say, an affectionate way of addressing a person instead of donna. Yes, menina. But menina is literally a young girl, but it can be in a, as I said, I'm flattered if someone calls me menina. It means I'm still young.
Just remembering then, fellas. So it's a bit like saying "Hey girl," isn't it, in American? Like "Hey girl," whatever the age the woman might be. That's a good tip. Thank you very much. There, you got to pick your right moment and the right word for that moment. And Hank is loving this. God damn, I love the sound of Portuguese. It is, in so many ways, it is a sexy language. Peggy's here, everybody. Nico, Peggy, be afraid, be very afraid of the Algarvenator. Bon dia, sorry to be late to the party. Prosecco, Peggy, finally in the house. Hola, Donna Filomena. Viva Algarve. There she is.
Hola.
Great. So do I call the bat phone and leave a message telling you I want to come on the show? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just send me a message, PM me. Anybody who wants to get in touch, absolutely fine. You don't have to leave an audio message. It's lovely to be able to play the audio messages, but just send me a text on that number as well, Deborah. It'll be my delight to talk to you and get you on the show. I'm looking forward to your entertainment. From Deborah Davies on that matter to Deborah Simpson, I am also always getting wrong for using Brazilian translations when I do my homework. So she comes down hard on that. This was Brazilian. This week was Brazilian ending NDO. I did it 5 times. I was nearly put on the naughty step. Quite right too.
Yeah, because Deborah is a student of mine. That's why she's referring to this. Yes, because when you use Google, for example, Google Translator, usually it comes up with the Brazilian version, right? And so this MDO actually is a good question, because when you want to refer to something that you are doing at the moment, for example, if you want to say I'm drinking water, right? The verb drink is
beber.
Beber. Very good. So beber. So if you want to say I'm drinking, in Portugal we say estou a beber. Estou a beber. I'm drinking.
Yeah.
But in Brazil they say estou bebendo. Bebendo. Right? So this bebendo, ending in this MDO, as Deborah says, is like in English, I'm drinking, right? This ing corresponds to this MDO in the Brazilian Portuguese. So they say estou bebendo, in my best Brazilian way, and in Portuguese, in European Portuguese, we say estou a beber. Estou a beber água, for example. I'm drinking water. So that happens in every verb.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And I think it's the same thing with English people, and they hear what Americans have done to our language, and sometimes they go, no. And sometimes they go, well, actually, that's pretty good. That's you've remixed it and made it better there. And I'm sure it's the same thing with the European Portuguese and Portuguese Brazilians as well. That lovely kind of it's not really a competition, is it? But this whole thing about how languages evolve and change like that. Hank, talking of Americans, so there you go, Deborah. No wonder you got a red line put through that. No sympathy here, because I come under the same scrutiny and firm hand of Filomena. What does Filomena think of online tools such as Duolingo from Hank in the States? What do you think of these apps and online?
Well, yeah, they can be a good help, isn't it? But of course, people use the translators, and if it's to clarify a word, for example, it's excellent. Sometimes in complete sentences, it's a bit harder to. Sometimes the translation is good. Sometimes it's not so good. It also depends on the vocabulary. For example, if you try to translate food, the name of the dishes, for example, it's terrible because that is very specific, and so it's very hard. With Deborah, and Deborah knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Deborah? Because sometimes she checks the menu online of a restaurant here, and the translations are mad.
Yes, and hilarious sometimes. Okay, we got overwhelmed by questions, which is a lovely thing in a way. But so we'll move on a little bit faster. Are you all right for time, Filomena? Are you okay? Because
I'm okay. I'm okay because well, I'm teaching online, but I don't have any lessons now. No.
Nothing at 10. That's good to know. Okay, so this is a Wednesday sort of question. What will be the best areas in Portugal for farming? But I would refer you to Alentejo and Central Portugal, of course. But yeah, join us on a Wednesday. Ask anything about Portugal. That's a great question. Thank you. Here we go. Remix jingle sent. Hope it's okay. Let's find out now.
Filomena Friday.
Oh, it sounds the same to me. But
it's
Friday.
It's remixed. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he's changed the inflection slightly there, isn't he?
It's very good, Owen. Very good.
He's got a lovely voice he's got. Deborah, thank you, Owen, for that. Deborah, try the translation site. Diepel is better for Portuguese.
Yes. Yes.
Is the C with the squiggly tall accent, that's a cedilla, isn't it? Is it always pronounced like an English S? And so why does it differ from the one before an E and an I? We did that, didn't we? We covered this already this morning.
No, actually we didn't. No, she's right. The C, the C with the cedilla underneath becomes a S sound when we want to put it next to an A or an O. Right. So So if the C comes with an E and an I, it's read as S, right?
Yeah.
But if we have words with a C and an A, for example, I'm thinking of, for example, açúcar. You have the word açúcar, and on açúcar you have the C and then a U, right? But if you want to sound S, you have to put that cedilla to change the K, that would be the natural sound with a CU, it would be K.
Yeah.
And I'm not pronouncing that in without the cedilla. Okay, that's a man cave thing. And so that açúcar,
Yes.
açúcar is with a C with cedilla to change the sound to S.
Okay.
Right.
There you go, Doreen. And hope you're feeling better today, Doreen. Pam E from YouTube here. Philomena, I'm using Memrise to gain vocabulary and then hope to get an online class. Is that a good approach to learning the language? What's your view on Memrise?
Yeah, why not? Yes, why not? Yeah.
Perfect. Anna De Paz was saying, I think Gary meant to write Como estás tú. Let's go with that. I think he was discovering that the Irish greeting doesn't translate very favorably, is what we might have morning. It seems formality is more important to address older or more professional people. Would that be right?
Yeah.
Okay. Peggy, I got into trouble in Portuguese class. No, that doesn't surprise me, Peggy, I have to say. Also, because Google Translation differs Brazilian. Yeah, that's right. Google Translate.
Yeah.
That you can get yourself
when I ask my students to do something at home, like a text or something, I always know if they use the translator.
Red pen.
Because you identify the Brazilian words rather than the European Portuguese words.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, and the doc's saying that is my issue pronunciation. That'll be a Brummie thing, I suspect, as well. An added dimension. Love to all the Facebook peeps from Hank. And Eugene, going back to politicians, he wouldn't trust them to sit on the right way around on the time. It's not easy being a politician at the moment. A sensible question. Is the SIPL test very hard? I don't know what this is. Do you?
This is the test that we have talked on the first show. Remember the test for. Okay, it's natural. You have many. But the first time I came on the show, we discussed the tests for citizenship. Remember?
A2 level. Yeah, I think of it as A2.
So that is the test. And as I said at the time, it's not a very difficult test. Of course, you have to know a little bit of Portuguese, and you have different parts on the test. So you have the reading part with basically multiple choice answers. So you choose the correct one. Then you have a part where you have to write 2 pieces of writing. One is a smaller one, about 25-30 words, and the other one is a bit longer, like an email. And then you listen to some files. You listen to each file twice, and you also have multiple choice answers to choose from. What is the correct one according to what you have heard? So, and then the final part is a very short speaking part where you are asked some personal, simple questions like where do you live and how long have you been here and things like that. And then you have to try to speak a little bit about something, but not very hard, I would say.
Okay, I do remember. I just forgot the name of it. So there you go, Andre. It's easy. Pete, good question from Pete. When we eventually move, and this is sort of, yes, it's relating to the times we're living in, of course, we want to leave chocolates, wine and beer for our neighbours. What would be a traditional note to leave for your community? So if they put a little notelet in with that, what do they say? Cumprimentos?
Cumprimentos.
That work on Cumprimentos de Pete e Diane?
Sim, cumprimentos. Yeah.
Cumprimentos. There you go. And that, you can put that, of course, on your emails, can't you? Your letters and so on. It's like it's best regards, isn't it?
Yes. We can finish with regards. Yes, cumprimentos, com os melhores cumprimentos. Best regards, com os melhores cumprimentos when we finish a letter, right?
Fantastic. So there you go,
Yeah.
Pete. Hope that helps.
Formal. Yeah.
Yep, and not a bad idea that the chocolates, wine, and beer. You know, and I'm sure that it will be reciprocated as well. You'll find yourself ankle deep in orange juice for the first little while. Bon dia, correct pronunciation of the town Louresh, isn't it?
Loures.
Oh,
Loures.
Louresh.
You were
Oh,
close. You were
Lourdes.
close.
There you go.
Loures.
Lourdes. There you go, Gail Lynn. Good morning to you. Bon dia. I like the jingle, but it would be better if you could put some music behind it. Is that an offer? Is that an offer from Henk Hoyk there? We do. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. And if you can help us with that, next time Philomena's on, we'll have a full-on production with music as well as the beautiful vocals from Owen there. I used to pronounce Pavor de Vargim without the accent when I first arrived in Portugal. Couldn't understand why people were confused and would ask, is that in Portugal? Live and learn the ups and downs of expat life. At Jerry Expats Portugal. Yeah, I can translate what that word means in Portuguese. Suffice to say that a car brand had to change the model name of one of its
Yes.
on that same basis.
Yes. That's right. I remember that.
It's a bit like in German, isn't it? Because there was the Silver Mist Rolls Royce, and mist in German means manure, I think, doesn't it? So they had to change that as well. It's very funny when that happens. What is the correct way to ask a shopkeeper if they have a particular thing? For example, this is a very specific example: free range pork. So would you not just say "tem porco"?
Tem. Yes. You could use tem. Yeah.
Tem, as in, do you hold?
Do you have? Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this tem. If you say tem, you are already using the formal você way without saying você, because tem is the formal way, and if you are using the informal, it would be tens with the sh at the end, right? So if you say tens, you are being very familiar with the person. And if you say tem, you are already using the formal, polite form, so you don't have to worry to say você. You don't have to say você or tu. You just have to use the correct verb. So in this sense, you start with tem, and then anything.
And it's straight to the point. That's the interesting thing about that. You know, in English, you're thinking, you go in and you say, a very good day to you, sir. Would you possibly have in your inventory such and such? It's like a great big long sentence. And then in Portuguese, just like, thank
Yeah.
porco. And they'll be seeing your pitch. Yeah. Gary would like you to learn a little bit of Brummie again.
Oh, God.
Would you mind reading this out?
Well, I don't know how to read that.
So
I won't be long.
Yeah, there you go. You're becoming an honorary. Don't be surprised if you get a letter from the mayor of Birmingham soon, giving you to the city. Jean Olof Loof says a lot of scammers around bitcoins, but then again, they say that, but there's a lot of scammers around cash and real.
Yes,
you know,
everywhere
there's money, there's scammers. So let's not be giving Bitcoin too much of a hard time about that. Gail Lynn, you say ooh, but when people speak faster, they might miss the U. Oh, another curveball coming in there. Shelley Lowry. Hi, Shelley. Good morning to you. Yesterday at the market, it was so funny. The lovely lady asked me, "Como se llama?" Obviously meaning, what's your name? I thought she said, "Como te llama?" I said, "Shelley." She was trying so hard to find a vegetable in her head called Shelley. She kept apologizing for not knowing one. I am still laughing about it. I must go clear it up today. A mission to the shopping mission. That sounds like fun. And that is a great way.
Como se chama can be several things.
Okay.
Right? Because como se chama, you are using this se, which can be referring to você, or it can be referring to him, to he or she, so to him or to her. So for example, or it, because we don't have it in Portuguese, it's always he or she. But como se chama, you can, for example, if you are pointing to a vegetable and you are saying como se chama isto, what's the name of this, right? So you are not asking what's your name, but
Oh,
what is this called, right? So
yes.
como se chama can be what is it called, or what's her name, what's his name. Everything is como se chama. It all depends on the context, on the situation. So this se is valid for several things, not just the você, but also for it in this case.
So Shelley being asked kind of like, what do you want? What vegetable would you like? And she's thinking, what's your name? She comes up with...
Yes, because the lady asked, what is the name of the vegetable that you want? Probably she wanted to know what's the name of the vegetable. And so, como se chama? So it would be como se chama o vegetal, or como se chama o legume, como se chama o produto. So what's the name of the product? What's the name of the vegetable?
So many stories like this for the expats. Oh my goodness! We're gonna do our best to get through all your questions here and your observations. I love it. I mean, when you go into shop and people just say "diga," like speak to me. What do you want?
Yes, just great. Say. Diga is just say.
Speak up. Barbara, hello, Portugal from Poland. Good morning to you.
Oh, Barbara, hello. Yeah, my friend Barbara from Katowice in Poland.
Oh, how lovely. John Hayfield.
If that's the Barbara I know. I don't know. It can be another Barbara.
You're right. She says, yeah, I think it is your friend. Oh, no, here's another possible bit of hot water. Don't try this as a double act with your earlier comment, Jerry. Mrs. H says, careful how you use shoo-shoo to a lady. You might get a slap. Oh, you have to be so careful. Hank, should you assume a word is masculine if it's not obvious as a rule of thumb? That's a good question. Should you sort of veer towards masculine rather than
on the L word? Yeah, on the words ending in L. Yes, you can say that.
Okay, okay. We're sort of rattling through these now. From Peggy, Donna Filomena, should I ask, Senora, falas English or fala English? Do I need to say the senora prior, or can I just say falas English?
You can leave the senor or senora, but you shouldn't say falas, because as I said, if you say the sh sound, the s, the sh, you are using the informal way. So it's no good if you start with you, lady, and then you address you in a too friendly way. So you should say fala with the s. Without the S, sorry. Fala English, and you don't have to say senor. You could say a senora, not just senora or senor. You could say a senora fala English. Do you speak English, madam? A senora fala English, or as simple as fala English. And of course, you don't have to mention a senora or o senhor. If you want to address a man, you say o senhor.
O senhor.
O senhor fala English, but you don't need that, and you can just say fala English, but without the S. Otherwise, it would be the informal, right?
Okay, there you go, Peggy. And the other thing you need to do is video that for us so that we can see it when you have that exchange, because I think that would be a lot of fun, and we can learn from your experience with you there. An exception here with the gendered.
Yeah.
What's that called? Pronoun, is it? Grama and Furiel. They're coming in. So Antonio and Joel are educating people in the comments as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we have some words that can be masculine and feminine. For example, the word jornalista. You have the word jornalista. It can be o jornalista or a jornalista.
Okay.
Because it can be a man or a woman. So you distinguish with o or a before the word to say if it's a man or if it's a woman. For example, a student, we say estudante, and we can also say a estudante or o estudante. So the same word can be masculine or feminine.
Right, and Lisboeta might be another example.
Sorry, Lisboa?
Lisboetas, the people from Lisbon, or is that not?
Lisboetas, yes.
Right.
Lisboeta, uma Lisboeta, yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to have to rattle through these quickly because we can't keep Filomena too long. And I hope you'll come back, Filomena. Will you come back in for another Filomena Friday and hear your jingle with music next time?
If you think you can learn something with me, yeah, I'm glad to come back.
Every single time. And of course, you can consult with Filomena one-to-one. Go for Trips for Brits on the Facebook there. The number 4, Trips for Brits. And have you got an email address for people as well, Filomena?
Yeah, tripsforbrits@gmail.com.
All right, let me just put that in the correctly spelt in the comments there, so that you can actually not get your email bounced back. So tripsforbrits@gmail.com. Going into the comments now, and I'm just going to cherry pick what's left here. Do forgive me if I don't get to your question or comment. It's been a very busy and fun program. This
Running
morning.
out of battery.
We've been here so long, the batteries are running out and everything. A pronunciation is the killer, says Jerry. If I visit France, Germany, or Italy, for instance, I can get by within a few days. 5+ years living in Portugal, and I'm still below beginner level. That's because you've been going around insulting everybody without knowing it, Jerry. Is there an online translation tool that has European Portuguese? So, a good question, Carolyn. Is there something better than Google Translate for the European Portuguese emphasis? Deep one.
No, Deep L, as yes, as it was already referred, Deep L. Maybe it's better. Yeah.
Strange question coming in here. Oi, mate, 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. You're more likely to hear that in an English pub than a Portuguese bar, it has to be said. There is Filomena's Gmail address if you want to get in touch with her for online lessons, as they would probably have to be right now. Oh, no, it always happens, doesn't it? Joel, if you know Spanish, then you're 40% into the Portuguese language. How controversial might that be right now?
Well, of course, there are lots of words that are the same or very similar in Portuguese and Spanish, but I mean, they are two different languages. They are two languages, so of course you can. It can help you if you know a bit of Spanish, but also you have to bear in mind that being two different languages, there are things that are different, right? Completely different.
Okay. Regarding your key to the city of Birmingham, it looks like we're making some progress there. I might be able to arrange the letter from the mayor. So there you go. Doc has insider contacts by the sound of it. Lovely message from, I think, London this morning. Also, I'll find that eventually. But Umberto Ferreira, what's up, guys? Good morning from Caldas de Raina. Good morning to you, Caldas de Raina.
Rainha.
Okay.
Rainha.
Caldas de Raina. So lots of lovely chat, sort of crosstalk, I call it, in the comments there. People chatting with each other, which is fantastic. But it makes my job very difficult finding where the questions are. We had here it is from Rita Lusson. Good morning, Portugal, from Manchester. I'm a Portuguese girl living in England and loving the show. And it really means a lot to me that Portuguese people tune in and help with their saudades and stay connected with Portugal via the Good Morning Portugal show. Essentially an expat service, but I love it when Portuguese people tune in. Almost like going from beginner programming language, Spanish, to a more advanced one, Portuguese. Yeah, we'll take that. Ubi ominum. Can I get by with smiling and nodding like an idiot? Well, I've done quite a lot of that. I don't know whether you'll get by, but it's a start. It is a good start.
It is a good start, right?
Yeah, good start. Maybe for questions, we should preface the comment with a keyword to help. Yeah, thanks, Hank. That would Q, for example, for question. That's really good. Yeah, that would work. But yeah, going back to that, and this is obviously what a lot of people do when they're in a foreign country. Smiling is good, isn't it? Rather than crying. So smiling and nodding is definitely better than crying and being angry. But we've said this before, and we'll say it again. Having a go is the all important thing, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, I'm I told you off a lot of times today, but the thing is that the most important is to try to speak, because if you try to speak, people appreciate that. People are happy to see that you are trying to learn their language, and so the Portuguese will appreciate if you try.
Yeah, absolutely. How fabulously useful that is, feeling much more confident about buying things. Como se and then tem. Brilliant. Yeah, it just takes those little things, doesn't it, to give you that extra bit of confidence, and that's why you're having a go. Building your confidence is important. And yes,
yes, from Katowice in Poland. Yeah, my sister Barbara. I call her my sister Barbara.
So that would be Irma, wouldn't it?
Irma. Yeah, my very good friend Barbara.
All right, and thank you so much, Filomena, and we will just play that jingle one more time so that people can hear it and think about what music we might put underneath it. We could put a sort of fado, sort of infused, or something maybe a little bit more upbeat, but we're looking for music for this, people.
Filomena Friday.
Beautiful, thank you, Owen, and there is a wonderful comment.
Beautiful voice, Owen.
Lovely voice. There was a lovely comment from Hank here, which is the final word here, and it will be that the gods demand. He says the gods demand that Filomena Fridays should continue. So I can't.
he's a student of mine too, so he's a bit suspicious.
Is that what Hank is? Is he?
Hank is a Dutch who is my student too.
Oh, I see. The one and the same. Okay, so yeah, but we demand it. The gods demand it. So we hope to see you again sometime soon, Filomena. It's been absolutely wonderful talking to you today, this morning. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado. Bom fim de semana.
De nada. Bom fim de semana.
All right. Ciao. Ciao. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Bom fim de semana a todos.